And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly.
What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. I'm not sure if any of you guys caught it, but the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, okay, said out his own mouth to a room full of the top generals and admirals that he wants to go to war with Americans, that he wants to use American cities as training grounds for warriors. You know, the Department of War, not Defense now, or Department of War. He wants U.S. military, enlisted personnel who practice war. He wants them to practice on American cities. He told that to a bunch of generals. The United States of America's president, right? The one who wants that Nobel Peace Prize. The one who ain't got no smoke for Putin. The one who allows Benjamin Netanyahu to commit genocide on a commercial scale. He wants to go to war with Americans. The Americans who disagree with him politically because he hates his political opponents. Another thing he said out his mouth. It's about time people start taking what Donald Trump say seriously. So I just want to remind you that the person that a lot of you guys, well, not you, but you, a lot of y'all voted for 3 times, the most unqualified individual ever to disgrace the White House. Because that's what he is, a disgrace. Neo-Nazi, racist, 3rd-generation German. All right? Not a person that has any heritage in this country. He's a German. All right? Who only book he ever read was Mein Kampf. All right? By Hitler. He idolizes Hitler. He's a legitimate racist. Documented racist. You guys over there voted in because you didn't want to vote for a woman or a black woman or Asian woman. Take your pick. You didn't want to vote for the most qualified individual ever to run for the White House. Instead, you voted for a TV personality who's a known, documented, and racist. Oh, and criminal, by the way. Like 30-something times criminal. And rapist, by the way. And he's also on a Jeffrey Epstein file, so he's probably more than likely a pedophile. That's who y'all picked 3 times. He said out his mouth. Okay? He wants to go to war with his political enemies. Blue states, Democrat states, black states, people who are brown. He don't want to send the troops to any of those white, red states, you know, where all the mass shootings are happening. No. That's not important. He don't want to send the troops to where the mass murders are happening, the political murders are happening, the religious murders, the Christians versus the Mormons, the incels versus the gropers versus the Nazis. You don't want to send troops to stop any of that. No. He wants to send troops in places where black people have political power, where Spanish people have political power, where some Muslims have some political power. That's where this neo-Nazi racist president wants to send American troops. By the way, I just want to let you guys know, it's against the law and against the Constitution for American troops to do any action against Americans in American soil. Troops are supposed to do all their actions overseas. So any soldier who participates in any of these actions are unlawfully following orders that are unlawful. He said that the military is supposed to fight terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Our enemies, both foreign and domestic. That's an oath I took. And right now, the domestic enemy is the current administration that we have right now. All you right-wing, racist militias who justify your Second Amendment rights, or who are okay with the killing of your own children in your own communities so that you can have the right to bear arms in order to protect yourself from a tyrannical government. Well, we have a tyrannical government. Where's that energy? That's all I'm saying. So either y'all were bullshitting because you just want guns so that you can protect yourself from black people because you can't fight. Because I know that's what it is. Can't mean nothing else. It's been proven. Because none of you militias who've been practicing out in the woods for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, none of you guys have gathered yourselves together and commenced to attacking the tyrannical government. All of you people, all of you rebels out there who say F the police, F the federal government, well, you have a federal government that's stepping on states' rights. Remember, you Republicans, federal government, don't step on states' rights. Well, this federal government has stepped on all the states' rights. I don't hear anything from you guys. What happened? What happened? Where's all that smoke y'all used to have? Was it just because you guys are racist? Is that it? Do you agree with this tyrannical neo-Nazi racist government to take American troops to attack American citizens who have a political difference from you? So is it okay when Democrats take control to attack you because they have a different political difference from you? Is that the standard at which we set ourselves down here in America? Just let me know. But I just wanted to remind you guys that the president of the United States, the one that's supposed to protect us, the one y'all voted for 3 times, y'all over there, not y'all, y'all cool. Y'all over there, 3 times. Unqualified guy. You guys knew he was unqualified, right? You guys knew that, right? I knew he was a racist, unqualified, horrible business person who's never succeeded in any business that he ever had. Ever. You guys knew that, right? Because you did your research, right? Because y'all always say, I do your research. Did y'all do your research when he sat in front of the generals that he collected from the world, making a hostile situation for all these generals, leaving their posts, leaving their troops, leaving their charge to collect in one place, creating a target for those who would want to hurt our capabilities around the world, right? Very dangerous situation that nobody does for a reason, for a photo op, to grandstand and disrespect those generals and tell them that if they don't agree with him politically, they should go ahead and resign. Remember who told us this was going to happen. And remember that you didn't listen because you didn't care. Because your racism and your misogyny was more important than common sense. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach them. I'm out.
This right here is a picture of America's top military generals listening to Donald Trump give his rambling speech today where he insulted them, he insulted our country, he declared war on American cities. Like, this man right here is the perfect representation of how this speech went. These are military leaders in the United States from different bases all over the world, Asia, Europe, of course here in the United States, and more. Just look at their faces, all of them. And that tells you exactly how this speech went today. During Donald Trump's tirade, he insulted their weight, their leadership. He said we're going to use blue cities as military training grounds and essentially declared war on American cities that he doesn't like. And multiple times throughout Donald Trump's speech, he asked for these military leaders to clap. He was essentially begging them to applaud him. He called the room silent. Now, these military officials are meant to be nonpartisan. They're not meant to clap or boo or anything like that. But remember, in Donald Trump's first term, our military actually stood in the way of his dictatorial tendencies. And so hopefully the men and women in that room do so once again.
Our history is filled with military heroes who took on all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know that phrase very well. That's what the oath says, foreign and domestic. Well, we also have domestic. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Grover Cleveland, George Bush and others all use the armed forces to keep domestic order and peace. Many of our leaders used the military to keep peace. Now they like to say, oh, you're not allowed to use the military.
If this isn't the most glaring example of Donald Trump trying to be a dictator, I don't know what is. Earlier today, while speaking to a group of military generals, he told them that they were going to use American cities as training grounds for, quote, the war from within. Trump said, and I quote, "They're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one." That's going to be a major part for some people in this room. It's a war from within. Donald Trump is telling his military generals that they're going to have to declare war on U.S. cities, particularly blue ones and ones that are within blue states. This is what dictators do. They target their political opponents, and Donald Trump is not going to stop because Democrats have shown time and time and again that they just cave every fucking time. They just cave because they're too weak and they don't stand up to anything. Well, this is the moment we need you guys to stand for something. Otherwise, not only will there not be a Democratic Party left, there may not be a country left when we're all said and done.
I'm Matt Conroy, and I'm running for Congress in Illinois' 5th District.
Welcome back to news you're just not seeing enough of in the United States. First, we can't even begin this conversation without talking about what just happened in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump told a room full of top brass, admirals, generals, etc., that they either needed to get on board with his vision or leave the room and give up their rank, their title, their retirement. His vision, that the military should be focused domestically and use major U.S. democratic cities as training grounds. Yes, you heard me correctly. He wants the military to be turned against the American people. This is coming on the heels of the executive order that was signed on the 22nd that labeled Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Now, if you remember, Antifa isn't actually an organization. It literally stands for anti-fascist, basically people who believe that fascism is bad. Now, everybody who believes that statement to be true and never says anything about it could now be labeled as a domestic terrorist. There was a separate memorandum that went on to further explain ways in which this could be explored, right? The IRS could be used, organizations who contribute funding or support for DEI initiatives or racial justice, social justice issues could now be deemed aiding and abetting domestic terrorism. Just to make sure we all are on the same page, that means your First Amendment right is gone entirely. Pete Hegseth then went on to say, when addressing this group of admirals and generals, that they were going to be holding them to the highest of male standards. And if you are a woman or a weak man who cannot meet the standards, that you're out. He also said you're not allowed to be fat because he doesn't want to see fat generals walking through Quantico. And he just thinks it's a quote unquote bad look. This meeting also rolled out branding around the Department of War and making it clear the Department of Defense is gone. We are now only the Department of War. And let me remind you that Trump said it himself today that the Department of War and all of the military should be focusing their attentions domestically. That means you. Speaker Johnson apparently locked the doors and was like, we won't have any bipartisan conversations, which means we should expect a government shutdown tomorrow or tonight at midnight. So October 1st, going into October 1st, the government is basically going to be shut down with the exception of the office of the president. And the military will still be expected to serve despite the fact that their paychecks aren't coming. Now, people who receive Social Security, who receive any food stamps, who are still part of any of these programs that are federally funded, you may not be getting those. There have also been reports that 120,000 federal employees are planning to walk out in the largest sort of walkout stage, quit, leaving in history. So in addition to this government shutdown, they're just like, we're not coming back. And we may not feel it right now, but we will feel that brain drain, that institutional knowledge, that knowledge of how systems work. We will feel that globally. I'm going to pause here because there is so much more to cover that happened on the international stage. So stay tuned for part 2. As always, stay safe, and please like, comment, and share. Videos of this kind of information keep getting suppressed. And so we need you, the people, to make sure that the people see what's going on. It's up to us now.
Now, Donald Trump is telling us how he intends to use power if he is elected again. He has stated that one of the biggest threats America faces is, quote, the enemy from within. The enemy from within. But know where that language harkens back to. Understand, and let us be clear about what he is saying. He considers any American who doesn't support him or bend to his will to be an enemy to our country. And further, he says that as commander-in-chief, he would use our military to go after them. Honestly, let that sink in.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.